$0. The number on my phone screen didn't change no matter how many times I refreshed the banking app. My savings account, 8 years of careful deposits, sacrificed vacations, packed lunches, and a 10-year-old Honda Civic, was empty. Not even the interest remained. Just zero. Last transaction, June 3rd, 2024. Transfer out, 140,312.67. Authorization, Julian Norcliffe, co-owner, my father. I was sitting at my desk at Datasphere when I found it. Tuesday morning, 9:47 a.m. Quarterly reports forgotten on my screen. The office hummed around me. Keyboards clicking, coffee brewing, someone laughing 2 cubicles over, but I couldn't hear any of it over the roaring in my ears. Julian Norcliffe had just stolen my entire future. I grabbed my purse, told my supervisor Janet I had a family emergency, and headed for the parking garage. My legs felt numb. I needed privacy for this call, needed to hear his voice when he explained. Because there had to be an explanation, there had to be. I dialed from my car, hand shaking. He answered on the second ring. "Ophelia, I was expecting your call." Not hello, not is everything okay? Just, I was expecting your call. "Dad," my voice cracked. "My savings, all of it, why?" Sebastian was in trouble. He sighed like I was being difficult. His investment property fell through. He owed the bank $120,000. Foreclosure, Ophelia. I had to help him. With my money? Family money. His tone sharpened, the banker's voice I'd known all my life. I used part to pay his debt, the rest as down payment on a new apartment. A fresh start. He needed it. That was 8 years of saving. I was going to buy a house. And you will. You have a good job. You're smart. You'll earn it back. Sebastian doesn't have your advantages. He needs support. My mother's voice in the background. Tell her it's for the family. Something in my chest that had been bending for 32 years finally snapped. You forged my signature, Dad. Silence. The electronic confirmation. I never authorized that transfer. More silence. Then, you're overreacting. I hung up. Stood in that parking garage watching tourists pass on the street below, completely unaware that my world had just imploded. The sun kept shining. A dog trotted by, tongue out, happy. My father had stolen my future and expected me to smile about it. Not this time. I was 17 when he added his name to my account. We sat in his office at Mountain West Federal, all dark wood and coffee smell. He wore his navy suit, the important client one. "Just in case something happens," he said, sliding paperwork across the desk. "This way I can help if there's an emergency. You're still my daughter, Ophelia. I want to make sure you're protected." I signed without reading. Why wouldn't I? He was my father, a bank manager. He understood these things. Protected. What a word. The pattern started slowly. I was 24 when he called about the leaking roof. Could I help with $15,000? I'd just been promoted to senior analyst. I transferred the money. He thanked me, voice thick with gratitude. That night, I felt useful, like a good daughter. 3 months later, Sebastian needed $8,000 for his first business opportunity, a rental property in Aurora. Dad backed him. This is how you help family get ahead. Sebastian promised to pay me back within a year. I never saw it again. Over the next 10 years, the pattern repeated. Mom's arthritis medication. Sebastian's second investment. Third. Fourth. Holiday expenses. Car repairs. Emergency after emergency, all requiring the same solution. Ophelia opens her wallet. I tracked everything in a spreadsheet. Date, amount, purpose, promised repayment, actual repayment. The last column stayed empty. Total over 10 years. 87,420. I knew the exact figure because I was a data analyst. Numbers were comfort. Spreadsheets didn't lie. They didn't call you selfish for wanting your own future. What I couldn't quantify, the thank yous I never received. The acknowledgement that never came. The way every sacrifice became invisible the moment the money left my account. What I got instead. You have a good job, Ophelia. You don't have kids to worry about. Family helps family. I was the family ATM, while Sebastian was the one with potential. But I had a dream. A modest house in the suburbs, backyard for tomatoes and roses, living room for hosting friends, walls that belonged to me. I started saving at 24. Automatic transfers of 25% from every paycheck into a high-yield savings account. Lived in my cramped Cap Hill apartment where upstairs neighbors moved furniture at 2 a.m., drove my Honda past 180,000 miles. Coffee at home, lunch in Tupperware. Goal, $150,000 for 20% down on a $750,000 house. After 8 years, 140, 312, 767. I'd toured 3 houses with my realtor. The third was perfect, craftsman style in Littleton wraparound porch, hardwood floors, garden space. Asking price, $735,000. I was making an offer the week after Dad's birthday. I'd already planned which bedroom would be my office, where morning light would hit my desk. That dream died at 3:47 a.m. on June 3rd when my father forged my signature. 2 years ago, I almost removed him from the account. I was updating financial information after a promotion. The bank rep asked about reviewing account holders. Seemed like good timing. I was 30, stable. The original reason, just in case something happens, felt outdated. I called Dad casually. "Hey, I was thinking of updating my account. Do you still need to be on there?" Long silence, then cold. "You don't trust your own father? After everything I've done for you?" My stomach dropped. "No, I can't believe this. I've spent decades looking out for you, and this is how you repay me? By treating me like a criminal?" "Dad, I need time to process this." 3 days of unreturned calls later, I apologized, profusely. Said I hadn't meant anything, that of course I trusted him. He forgave me. I left his name on the account. That decision cost me $140,312.67. 3 days before I discovered the theft, we celebrated Dad's 60th birthday, Saturday, early June. 20 guests filled my parents' house in Lakewood, aunts, uncles, cousins, old friends. Elegant decorations, catered food, paid for with money Sebastian borrowed from somewhere. Everyone dressed nicely, performing Happy Functional Family for the audience. Dad gave a speech about gratitude and legacy. Mom gazed at him adoringly. Sebastian stood beside them, introduced as our up-and-coming real estate investor. No one mentioned his 3 failed investments. No one mentioned I'd funded 2 of them. I sat in the corner with wine, watching the performance. What I noticed, Dad and Sebastian kept huddling together throughout the party. Whispered conversations, glancing at me, looking away when caught. Something was happening. Something I wasn't supposed to see. Near the end, Aunt Helen, Dad's older sister, the only family member who'd ever acknowledged I gave too much, pulled me aside. She squeezed my hand. "Sweetheart, you've given enough. Be careful." I laughed. "Careful of what?" She didn't answer, just looked at me with something like pity, or forewarning. 3 days later, I understood. After hanging up on Dad in the parking garage, I sat for 30 minutes trying to process. Then I called Blake Thompson. We'd been friends since college, met in an economics class freshman year, stayed close through career changes and life chaos. He was now a lawyer specializing in financial fraud, working at a mid-size firm downtown. "Ophelia." His voice was warm. "It's been months." "What's going on?" I told him everything. The account, the transfer, the forged signature, the phone call. Long pause after I finished. "Ophelia, this is serious. Like felony-level serious." "What do you mean?" "Your father being co-owner complicates things, but it doesn't give him the right to forge your signature. If he created false electronic authorization, that's forgery. Combined with the unauthorized transfer, we're looking at potential bank fraud and identity theft." My stomach dropped. "I don't want him in prison." "I understand, but you need to know your options. Mountain West Federal has a 72-hour window for disputing suspicious transactions. After that, recovery becomes much harder." I checked my phone. The transfer processed Tuesday morning. Now, Tuesday evening. I have less than 48 hours. Yes. And Ophelia, that email with your electronic signature, do you still have it? Yes. Forward it to me. And if you know anyone who does digital forensics, have them check the metadata. If that signature was created from a different device, that's evidence. I did know someone. Victoria Hayes, Senior Digital Forensics Specialist at DataSphere. We'd worked together on data integrity projects for 2 years. After hanging up with Blake, I sat in my car watching the sunset over downtown Denver. I thought about Dad's face, remembered him teaching me to ride a bike, remembered, "You're my smart girl, Ophelia," but also remembered, "You don't have kids to worry about. Family helps family." The choice crystallized. He'd made his decision at 3:47 a.m. when he forged my name. Now, I'd make mine. Wednesday morning, I caught Victoria before our department meeting. "Victoria, I need a favor, a personal one." She looked at my face, I hadn't slept, and immediately nodded. "What do you need?" I forwarded the bank's confirmation email. "Can you analyze the metadata? Tell me where this signature originated?" It took her 50 minutes. "Ophelia," her voice was careful when she called me into her office. "This signature wasn't generated from any of your devices. Different IP address. Residential Denver area, but definitely not your home or phone." She pulled up her analysis. The IP traces to a residential address in Lakewood, my parents' house. There's more. The timestamp is 3:47 a.m. Monday morning. Were you awake at 3:47 a.m.? No. Then someone accessed your banking portal and created this signature while you were asleep. She turned to face me directly. "Ophelia, this is identity theft. Textbook identity theft." I sat holding the printed forensic report, feeling its weight. "I'll need this documented officially. Can you write up a formal report?" "I'll have it to you by end of day." She touched my arm. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry this is happening." 40 hours left. That night, I called Mom. 17 missed calls from her throughout the day. I called back. "Ophelia, thank God. Your father told me you're upset." "Mom, I need Dad to return the money within 24 hours. All of it. If not, I'm filing a police report for identity theft and bank fraud." Silence. Then sobbing. "You can't do that to your own father. We raised you. We sacrificed everything. He forged my signature, Mom, at 3:47 in the morning. That's a crime. It's not stealing if it's family. That money, you were going to waste it on a house when Sebastian needed it. Family doesn't forge signatures. Family doesn't open loans in your name." Silence. "What?" "There's a $25,000 loan in my name. Did you know about that?" Her voice shook. "Julian mentioned needing money for Sebastian's legal fees." 24 hours, Mom. 140 cons, 312.67 back in my account by tomorrow night. If not, I file the report. Ophelia, please, think about what you're doing. Your father could go to jail. Is that what you want? To ruin us? My voice cracked for the first time. I'm not ruining anything. I'm protecting myself. For the first time in my life, I'm choosing me. I hung up. 24 hours passed. No money was returned. Thursday evening, 9:00 p.m., I opened my laptop and began typing a police report. Thursday morning, 9:15 a.m., Denver Police Department Financial Crimes Unit. Detective Sarah Mitchell, 40s, sharp eyes, seen-it-all expression, reviewed my evidence, Victoria's forensic report, bank statements, the 10-year spreadsheet, the fraudulent email. Miss Norcliffe, this meets criteria for identity theft under Colorado Revised Statute 18-5902 and bank fraud under Federal Statute 18 U.S.C. 1344. The forged signature is damning. What happens now? We open an investigation. Coordinate with Mountain West Federal's Fraud Department. She handed me a form. Your official identity theft report. Case 2024 DEN 78432. You'll need this for the bank. I signed, hand steady. Family cases are always hardest, she said quietly. Are you prepared for what this means? I thought about 8 years of sacrifice, about Dad's voice, You'll earn it back. My father made his choice. Now he faces the consequences. She nodded. We'll be in touch. I was almost out when she called back. One more thing. When we ran your name, something flagged. There's a $25,000 personal loan opened 6 months ago in your name. Were you aware? The floor dropped. No, I never applied for any loan. She made a note. Then we're looking at multiple counts of identity theft. The assault began within hours. Voicemails from Mom, increasingly hysterical. Texts from Sebastian. You're dead to me. Calls from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, suddenly experts on what terrible daughters do. Friday morning, Dad called, voice like ice. I've heard what you did, Ophelia, going to the police about your own father. You stole my money and forged my identity. What did you expect? I expected loyalty. I expected you to remember who raised you. You gave me guilt and expectations, Dad. I earned everything else myself. The police will believe you over me? I was a bank manager for 32 years. I have connections, reputation. I'm just the daughter with forensic proof that you committed identity theft from your IP address at 3:47 a.m. I have timestamps, metadata. What do you have? Silence. One last chance, Ophelia. Drop this. Tell them you made a mistake. The only thing that needed fixing was my boundaries. Consider them fixed. I hung up, blocked his number. Saturday morning, I saw Sebastian's Facebook post. Housewarming party! Come celebrate my new place in the Highlands. Saturday, June 15th, 6 p.m. Can't wait to show you all what hard work and smart investing can achieve. The header showed a gleaming apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows, downtown Denver skyline. 45 RSVPs, parents listed as co-hosts. I looked up the listing. $400,000 apartment in the Highlands. Down payment minimum, $80,000. My 80,000 comments flooded in. So proud of you. You earned this. Then Aunt Helen. Lovely apartment, Sebastian. Where did you find the money for such a nice down payment? Sebastian's reply. Family helped out, you know how it is. That smiley face. I called Detective Mitchell. You asked about timing for the arrest warrant. I have a suggestion. I'm listening. Saturday, June 15th, 7 p.m., the housewarming party. 45 witnesses celebrating my brother's success, bought with my stolen money. Long pause. That's unconventional. So is stealing from your daughter. Fair point. I'll coordinate with the DA. After hanging up, doubt crept in. Was this revenge or justice? Was I becoming like them? But then I thought about that post. The audacity. 45 people celebrating a lie while I was erased. They wanted an audience for the fiction. They'd get an audience for the truth. The week crawled by. Monday, Mountain West, federal confirmed the fraud. Full restitution within 30 to 60 days. However, recovery may take 3 to 6 months if disputed. Family pressure escalated. Mom called my boss trying to get me fired. Sebastian posted, dealing with family betrayal. The family group chat exploded. But not everyone turned on me. Cousin Emma, something's not right here. Aunt Helen, maybe ask Ophelia her side. Some stayed neutral. Wednesday, Detective Mitchell called. Warrant issued. Saturday, 7 p.m. I could back out, still call it off, but I thought about 8 years, the forged signature. You'll earn it back. I stayed the course. Friday night, I couldn't sleep. Imagined tomorrow. Handcuffs, tears, 45 witnesses. Is this justice? But they made it public first. Saturday, 6 o'clock p.m. I wasn't there yet, but I knew what was happening. Sebastian's apartment gleamed. Soaring ceilings, designer furniture, Denver skyline through windows, catering trays, music, balloons, 45 guests with champagne, Dad holding court. I've always believed in investing in family. When Sebastian came to me with this opportunity, I knew it was right. That's what parents do. Mom circulating with appetizers. Isn't this wonderful? Sebastian worked so hard. Sebastian by the window. Real estate is all about timing, man. Nobody questioned where he found $80,000. At 6:45 p.m., Aunt Helen approached Sebastian. "This apartment is stunning. What did it cost?" "Around $400,000, great deal." "And the down payment? Last I heard you were having trouble." Heads turned. Dad helped out. Family support. "Did Ophelia contribute anything?" Sebastian went pale. "What? No. She mentioned a bank transfer, $140,000. The room started going quiet. Dad pushed through the crowd. "Helen, this isn't the time." "Where did the money come from, Julian? The truth." "It's family business." "Did you take money from Ophelia's savings without permission?" Complete silence. 45 pairs of eyes on Dad. The doorbell rang. Dad's face went white. Sebastian opened the door. 2 uniformed Denver PD officers. Behind them, Detective Mitchell. "We're looking for Julian Norcliffe." Mom rushed forward. "This is a private party." "Ma'am, step aside." Mitchell showed her badge. "Mr. Julian Norcliffe, you're under arrest for bank fraud, identity theft, and forgery. You have the right to remain silent." "This is ridiculous. My daughter is mentally unstable." "Sir, we have forensic evidence of a signature forged from your computer at 3:47 a.m. on June 3rd, authorizing transfer of $140,312. We also have evidence of a $25,000 loan fraudulently opened in her name." An officer guided Dad's hands behind his back. The click of handcuffs echoed in the silent room. Mom collapsed against the wall, sobbing. Sebastian frozen, champagne in hand. Uncle Thomas stepped away from Sebastian. They led Dad toward the door, head bowed. Passing Helen, she spoke quietly. "You should have returned the money. She gave you a chance." Detective Mitchell addressed the room. "Mr. Norcliffe is accused of stealing $140,312.67 from his daughter by forging her identity. This apartment's down payment came from stolen funds. A $25,000 loan was also fraudulently opened in her name." "He stole from his own daughter?" Sebastian's coworker set down her glass. "We're celebrating an apartment bought with stolen money? That's messed up." People moved toward the door. Within 15 minutes, 20 guests gone. Those remaining whispered, stared, disgusted. Sebastian's friend shook his head, leaving. "I thought I knew you." I arrived at 7:45 p.m. The door still open. No one had closed it. Half-empty glasses everywhere. Untouched food. Balloons floating mockingly. 15 people remained. Mom launched off the couch. You destroyed everything." I held up my hand. She stopped. "I didn't destroy anything. I reported a crime." I set my folder on the counter. Uncle Thomas took it, face shifting through shock, disgust, grief. "Ophelia. I had no idea." "That's what they counted on." Sebastian found his voice. "Dad said you were okay with it, that you wanted to help. I never agreed. I was asleep when he forged my signature at 3:47 a.m. You knew where that money came from, and you threw a party anyway." He had no response. Over the next hour, remaining guests left. Sebastian's coworker at the door. "I vouched for you at work. Don't call me." By 9 p.m., Mom, Sebastian, Helen, Thomas, and me. The apartment felt hollow now. "I didn't do this to hurt you," I told Sebastian. "I did it because you hurt me. You took 8 years of my savings and threw a party, posted about hard work and smart investing." My voice cracked. "That wasn't hard work. That was theft. Dad said—" "Dad lied, and you chose to believe him because it was convenient." To Mom, "Dad broke the law. Those are facts. He's your father." "He's a criminal who happens to be my father. Both can be true." I picked up my folder. "I'm leaving. I won't be contacting you. When Dad's case goes to court, I'll do what's required. Beyond that, I have nothing to say." Sebastian stood. "We're family." "Family doesn't steal, Sebastian. Family doesn't forge signatures at 3 a.m. Family doesn't throw parties with stolen money." I met his eyes. "When you're ready to really acknowledge what you did, not make excuses, you can reach out. Until then, goodbye." I walked out. Aunt Helen followed to my car, pulled me into a tight hug. "You did the right thing, sweetheart. The hard, right thing." Standing in that parking lot, party wreckage fading behind me, I finally cried, not from sadness or regret, from release. The Sunday after the arrest, I woke up feeling hollowed out, not regret, just emptiness. Like I'd been carrying something heavy for so long that without it, I didn't know how to stand. My phone had 73 missed calls. I ignored all except Blake and Detective Mitchell. Tuesday, Blake called about the plea deal. DA's offering your father 18 months probation, 200 hours community service, and full restitution. Given his age, clean record, and family context, they're not pushing for prison time. The $25K fraudulent loan will be removed from your credit report within 60 days. What do you think I should do? It's not your decision, it's the DA's. But if they ask your input, the plea deal ensures you get your money back faster. A trial could take years. I thought about Dad in prison. Orange jumpsuit, other inmates. He was still my father, somewhere under the criminal. But he'd also stolen my future without hesitation. Tell them I want restitution and the loan removed. Beyond that, whatever they think is just. Most victims want blood. I just want my life back. Late July, Dad accepted the plea deal. I wasn't at the hearing, advised to stay away. Blake texted after. It's done. He pled guilty. Restitution order signed. Relief, sadness. No victory, just resolution. August 1st, 140,312.67 appeared in my new account. Account in my name only. No co-owners. No exceptions. The money felt different now. Heavier. Earned twice. Once through work. Again through the hardest fight of my life. I stared at the balance, feeling nothing like triumph. Just thought, I shouldn't have had to fight for what was already mine. I called Mountain West Federal. I want to close my old account permanently. Are you sure? It's been open since you were 17. I'm sure. That account was never really mine. Is there anything else we can help with today? I paused. Yes, I'd like information about your mortgage pre-approval process. The consequences fell like dominoes. Sebastian was forced to sell the Highlands apartment within 2 months. The market had softened. Word spread through Denver's investor community. That's the guy who used his sister's stolen money. He sold at a $35,000 loss, debt he couldn't escape. His real estate career collapsed. Phone calls went unreturned. Doors closed. Mom retreated into isolation. Her church friends, book club, neighborhood group, all heard the news. She stopped attending services, stopped hosting, stopped answering the door, became a ghost in her own life. Uncle Thomas kept his word, cut off Dad completely. When Mom tried to reach out, he sent one text. You knew, Linda. You knew and did nothing. The extended family fractured. 12 relatives formally distanced themselves. A few sent me private support messages. Others went silent. But something unexpected happened. Victoria had shared my story, anonymized, in an online support group for identity theft victims. The response was overwhelming. This happened to me too. My mother opened 6 credit cards in my name. Reading your story gave me courage to report it. I've been paying off my brother's loans for 12 years. I thought I was the only one stupid enough to fall for it. Thank you for showing me I'm not alone. My dad told me family doesn't keep score when he co-signed his mortgage. Now I'm $80,000 in debt and he won't return my calls. How did you find the strength? I responded to every message. Some needed resources, lawyer referrals, fraud procedures, credit repair steps. Others just needed to know someone understood. At Datasphere, word spread. My manager Janet called me into her office. Ophelia, I heard what happened. What you did took incredible courage. If you need time off, for court, therapy, anything, it's yours. No questions asked. Colleagues stopped by my desk with encouragement. People I'd barely spoken to. I'd expected judgment. I got support. Aunt Helen became my weekly dinner companion. Every Sunday, she'd come over with wine and a listening ear. One evening, she told me, "Your grandmother did something similar to me 40 years ago. Opened a credit card in my name when I was 23. Maxed it out. I spent 8 years paying off debt that wasn't mine. Never said a word. Too scared. She squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you for having what I didn't. I realized abuse patterns repeat through generations. I'd broken the cycle. September brought a handwritten letter from Mom. Dear Ophelia, your father and I have had time to think. I'm sorry if you felt hurt by our actions. Family should support each other, and I understand now that things didn't go the way you expected. Your father only wanted to help Sebastian. He's always been a good provider. Sometimes that means making hard choices that not everyone understands. I'm asking you to consider forgiveness. Holding anger only hurts you. Please come home. We can work through this together. We're still your parents and we still love you. Mom, I read it 3 times. Sorry if you felt hurt. Not, sorry we hurt you. No acknowledgement of what they did. No accountability. Just deflection wrapped in Bible verses and maternal guilt. I wrote back the next day. Mom, thank you for reaching out. However, I can't return to a relationship where my boundaries aren't respected and my harm isn't acknowledged. Dad didn't just make hard choices. He committed crimes he pled guilty to in court. When you're ready to acknowledge that clearly, without deflection, I'm willing to talk. Until then, please respect my need for space. Ophelia. I didn't hear back. October, 4 months after the arrest. An email from Sebastian appeared in my inbox. Subject: Can we talk? Ophelia, I know I screwed up. I want to make things right. Can we meet for coffee? Please, just hear me out. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Chose a busy downtown coffee shop. Public. Neutral. Witnesses if needed. Sebastian looked diminished when he arrived. Lost weight. Clothes wrinkled. The confident investor persona was gone, replaced by something smaller. Thanks for coming. He sat across from me, hands wrapped around a cup he wasn't drinking. I know I don't deserve it. You're right, you don't. I want to apologize. Really apologize. What Dad did, what we did, it was wrong. I should have questioned where the money came from. You did question it, Sebastian. Then you decided the answer didn't matter because you were getting what you wanted. He flinched. That's fair. The conversation continued. He talked about consequences, lost job, friends, apartment, seemed genuinely remorseful. I started to soften slightly. Then, Dad's probation is making things really hard. He can't travel, can't work in banking. And I was wondering if maybe you could talk to the DA, ask them to reduce. Stop. He stopped. You didn't come here to apologize. You came to ask me to help Dad. Again. After everything. Ophelia, he's our father. I stood up. He stopped being my father when he forged my signature at 3:47 in the morning. I picked up my bag. Goodbye, Sebastian. Don't contact me again unless you're ready for an actual conversation. One that isn't about what you need from me. I left the coffee untouched. Walking out, I realized they'd never change. They'd always see me as the resource. The family ATM, and I couldn't fix them. I blocked Sebastian's email. Felt sad, but also free. November, Thanksgiving, my first holiday without family. Aunt Helen invited me to her house, a cozy craftsman in Berkeley. When I arrived, the table was set for 2. Simple, elegant, peaceful. Over dinner, we talked about everything except my parents. Her garden, my work, the book club she'd joined. Normal things. It wasn't until dessert that she brought it up. You know, Ophelia, I was your age when something similar happened to me. I looked up from my pie. My mother, your grandmother, opened a credit card in my name when I was 23, maxed it out. I didn't find out until I tried to buy my first car and was denied. Bad credit I didn't create. What did you do? Nothing. Her voice was heavy with old regret. I was too scared, too conditioned to protect the family image. I spent 8 years paying off that debt and never said a word. That's not your fault. No, but it is my lesson. She reached across and squeezed my hand. What you did, Ophelia, standing up, demanding accountability, that's what I should have done 40 years ago. I didn't have the courage. You do. Sometimes I wonder if I did the right thing. You did. Her voice was firm. Protecting yourself isn't betrayal, it's survival. And family, real family, is people who love you enough to want you to survive. I felt tears threatening. Thanks for being real family, Aunt Helen. We sat on her porch afterward, wrapped in blankets, watching the sun set. For the first time in years, I felt peace. December, 6 months after the theft, I signed the papers for my new house, not the original Craftsman I'd dreamed of. That sold while I was fighting for my stolen savings. But the house I found was better. A charming split level in Littleton with a wraparound porch, renovated kitchen, and a backyard big enough for the garden I'd always wanted. Purchase price, $735,000. Down payment, $147,000, my recovered savings plus 6 months of additional contributions. The closing was Thursday afternoon. I sat at a conference table surrounded by lawyers, agents, and mortgage officers, signing document after document, watching the stack grow. When it was done, when the final signature was placed and the keys handed over, I sat in my car outside the title company and cried. Not from sadness, from release. 8 years of saving, a devastating betrayal, a legal battle, a family shattered, and at the end, a house. My house. In my name only. I drove to the property that evening. The moving truck wouldn't come until the weekend, so the house was empty, echoing with possibility. I walked through each room, running my fingers along walls, memorizing spaces that were finally entirely mine. The backyard was brown with winter dormancy, but I could already see where the flower beds would go, where I'd plant tomatoes in spring, where I'd set up a small table for morning coffee. The doorbell rang. Aunt Helen stood on the porch holding a pot of red roses. "Housewarming gift," she said, eyes bright with tears. "For your garden." I pulled her into a hug so tight neither of us could breathe. "Welcome home, sweetheart," she whispered. I was home. Epilogue. 6 months later, I'm writing this from my porch. The garden is thriving. Helen's roses bloomed deep red in May. The tomatoes are producing more than I can eat, so I share with neighbors. I've made peace with the shape of my family now. It's smaller, but honest. Dad completed his community service. He's still on probation. From what Helen tells me, he's aged dramatically. Mom stopped reaching out. Sebastian sent one more email. I deleted it without reading. I'm not angry anymore. Anger requires energy, and I've chosen to spend my energy on things that matter. My work, my home, my relationships with people who value me, but I'm also not waiting for them to change. I used to believe that loving family meant sacrificing everything, my savings, my dreams, my boundaries. I thought saying no meant saying, "I don't love you." I was wrong. Real love doesn't require self-destruction. Real family doesn't exploit your loyalty. And setting boundaries isn't betrayal. It's the foundation of every healthy relationship. I don't know if my parents will ever understand that. I don't know if Sebastian will ever grow into someone who takes responsibility. But I know this. I'm not responsible for their understanding. I'm only responsible for my own integrity, my own healing, my own life. And for the first time in 32 years, that life belongs entirely to me. I close my journal and look out at the sunset, turning my garden gold. I chose myself. Finally. It was the hardest thing I ever did. It was worth it.